Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for Market Monday. Today I have a set of homemade label stamps that I had made. I was watching a bunch of other people use some label stamps and I thought they were kind of cool, so I looked them up on Etsy and I was kind of surprised to find that they were like $65 plus shipping. And so I looked at a few other Etsy stores and the prices were just really out of my price range. So I thought, I'm going to make my own. And when I started to make them, I thought, I'm going to make a few sets. So I have 10 sets. They're $25 per set, and that includes the shipping. So I'm just going to kind of get into it and show you what they are. So there are 20 stamps in the set, and I have them both stamped in, this is pigment ink in royal blue, and this one is a chalk ink in sky pink. So, but those are the two that I used just to kind of use a couple different types of inks to see how they worked with the different inks. And then after I was done, I was playing with my set with some distress inks and came up with, this is what they look like with the different distress inks. Now, when I cut them out, I like to cut them like with the white border on them. But you don't have to cut a border on them. I mean, there's quite a few here that don't have borders on them. But, it all just depends on how you like to do things. Now, one thing I did want to say is these stamps here, I was stamping on a blueprint that I had. And so I got all of these cool little things from the blueprint on my labels. But then I also did some that were just plain, so I would have them that way. But it's really kind of fun, to pick out little, like this one says figure 11 for, just kind of in the corner. It makes them, cute to look at. But if you don't have something like a blueprint, it's also just cool. This is the page number at the bottom of a page. So, you don't have to have anything special to stamp them on, but they're really fun to just play with. So the designs that are in the set are here. And again, there's 2 of each, except this one here I have 3 because I cut the one out without the white edge, because I was going to start doing that, and then I thought that would really take up too many papers. So I just went ahead and just did them in the 2 inks, but I did cut them out with the white edge on them. But these are just what the different labels look like. And again, this is one stamp just stamped in 2 colors. So there's the first part of them, and then here is the rest of them. So they come in a range of sizes from, let's see here. This little one is about 1 inch wide and about a 1/2 an inch that way. That's with my little white edge. So it's just under 1 inch and just under 1/2 an inch. So, and then the biggest one would be this one, and that's about almost 5.5 inches by about 2 1/4. So, anyways, I'm going to show you like what they look like. Again, these are homemade stamps that I made. So they're not factory made. They're all going to be the same, but yet they may stamp a little bit differently because, like I said, they're homemade, but they're going to come in a box like this. Now, I'm going to show you, let me do this right away to show you. This is going to come in a box just like this. And you can use this box to store your stamps. If when you get it, all you need to do, it's going to come, like taped shut right here. So all you need to do is if you just cut it like with an X-Acto knife, right along this line to just cut this flap off, because it sticks pretty good. So I don't know how easy it is to peel it off. If you can peel it up, you can peel it up and just cut it off right there too. But, if it doesn't really want to peel up, just cut it along that line, because once you cut it there, then what's going to happen is that top is going to lift up like this, and that the lip is going to stick right here. So, but when you lift it up, it has these little flaps on it. So that's the only place that you have to disconnect it when you're opening it, and then it will lift up like that. I kept those little flaps on there because they tuck in and they help keep it closed. So, and then you can decorate it however you want to. I decorated it to match my art room. This is pretty much how I decorate a lot of my storage, is in the browns. And this that I used on top, if you have a question as to what that is, I don't really know exactly what it is, but I found it at the hardware store. I tend to like things that are different. This is called Peel and Stick Aluminum, and it's for repair projects, so for roofs and stuff, I guess. But it's just fun to play with. And so it's just got an aluminum on top, and it's got like tar or something very sticky and soft inside, or underneath, I guess, the aluminum. And so that sticks really good to the top of my box. Then I used alcohol ink. I used a stylus to draw on that because it's got that cush to it, so it pushed right down. And after the alcohol ink dried, I put some black paint and then wiped that off. And it wiped some of my alcohol ink, so I put a little bit more alcohol ink on there. And then I just painted the rest of the box with some browns and a little bit of gold and copper to give it a little bit of shine. So, but if you cut your box right across the front like that when you get it, you can use the box for storage. And then when you open it up, it's going to have it's got 2 layers. So we've got the top layer here, and it's got these 2 little handles that you can pick it up with so that you can get to the second layer. And the second layer I didn't make to come out because that's the bottom layer. But so all of the stamps fit in that little box and can be stored that way. So let's go ahead and stamp some. I think I'm going to try the tea dye. Hopefully it's not too dry, because that's one of the colors I use a lot, so I might as well stamp them in a color I'm going to use when I'm done. So we're just going to, let me put this up here. I'm going to start with the smaller ones. And the way that I hook these in here is I put Eileen's Tack It over and over. This is just a very thin piece of cardboard. You know, just to hold them. And then I put dots of Eileen's Tack It over and over, let it dry, and then it was really sticky. And when I stuck my stamps on there, you know, it really wanted to stick. A couple of the little dots peeled off and stuck to the back of my stamp. So what I did was I took a little piece of, this is some yarn that I got, but it's, you know, the fuzzy end was cut. So I figured that would, you know, those fuzzies would kind of stick to the Eileen's Tack It over and over. So I just did the whole page like that. And then I just kind of touched them and touched them until they didn't feel super sticky. So that they wouldn't, you know, peel the cardboard off of here and stick to the back of here or whatever. So, but it does kind of hold them in place. And I just wanted that so that they weren't, you know, rolling all over the box in shipping. So I'm just going to, and in each one of them, the cardboard that I put them on is cardboard that I purchased at the craft store. This is a really, really thick cardboard. It's not like a cereal box. It is chipboard, but it's quite heavy. So I thought that would be a really nice backing for them. And so I am just going to stamp those. I'll put a stamp off next to it if I can remember, just to show you, you know, like how it holds the ink. And we'll just kind of run through them all really quickly. Again, like I said, these are handmade. These are, these stamps come from the recycle store. And so they're just cut-offs from factories that they then send them to a recycle store that's a nonprofit, and they help children. So I like to go there and buy some of this stuff to use in my crafting because it's different, and also because it helps them out. Plus it saves all of this stuff from going into the landfill. So, and see now that one, I just peeled the Tack It over and over off of that one. So I'm just going to throw that over there. Because once you get it, you don't have to have the Tack It over and over on there. Although it would still hold them in place. But I really wanted that on there for the shipping time. And this one I don't think I got a whole lot of ink on. But, and see, they can come out with different, like, see, I didn't get a lot of ink on here. So it's quite light right there. let's try me actually paying attention to getting ink on the whole thing and see if it stamps any differently. But like I said, because they're from the recycle store, see, that one came out much darker because I made sure I got ink everywhere. And I also like held it on there for just a minute instead of pulling it right up really quickly. But yeah, so, and then we've got, let's see, we haven't done this one yet. And if you have, like, when you stamp one, if it's, like this one didn't stamp here again, I'm not paying a good attention at, but let me see about pushing on that side and seeing if the ink is there, but I just didn't push that side down. No, there's no ink on that side, and that's because I wasn't really paying attention, I think. And there we go. So, there. But just, you know, you just try them, you play with them, and they really make, as far as I'm concerned, really cool stamps. But they're not all going to be exactly the same, because some of them are, the foam is, how do I want to say that? Some of them, the foam is kind of shiny, like this one. And some of them, the foam is more foamy, so it holds a little more ink. And then this one is kind of like a parentheses. So that one, I kind of like the way that those look too. And what you can do with this one is, if you want it to be longer, is you can just put ink on just one side and stamp it down like this. And then I want it to, let's say, be all the way over here. Then we're going to do the other side and put that one all the way over here. So now instead of just being this long, it's this long. You can make it, or you could make it shorter if you want to. And then we've got it here. We've got that one is kind of round, and this one is kind of square. But I really enjoy trying to come up with ways to make different things. And this was one that I thought, price-wise, I could do myself a whole lot better by doing it myself. And then this one, I've had this as a label stamp for a really long time. Not this particular one, but see, and that's with this really heavy cardboard, because this does not have a center in it. This really heavy cardboard does help, so it doesn't like push down into the middle when I'm trying to put the ink on it or pressing on it this way. But yeah, so, you know, and there's nothing wrong with either, you know, the ones that you can buy on Etsy, you know, they are made at a factory, you know, they're going to stamp the way that they show you exactly, you know. So, and you know, there's nothing wrong with those. They're, you know, they're pretty stamps. I kind of like the fact that these have differences to them, because, you know, sometimes I just want something different. I missed this one. So as a matter of fact, the ones in the Etsy shop were pretty much all shaped like this. They were different sizes, but they were all shaped the same. And so I like having the rounds and the ovals. I'm going to put this one in the middle here. Instead of, you know, just one shape. But now I want to show you this one too, because this one stamps this way every time. So this one right here, along this edge, it's a little bit not straight, and that is this specific stamp. That's, you know, somehow it's got a little dent in it or something, and so that's the way that that one stamps. And like I said, I have not I haven't stamped all of the stamps, only my own. So, you know, you may find that yours might have a little dent here or there. I'm gonna put this one here. Oh, by doing this, I'm not going to be able to, well, I'll be able to cut these out, but I'm not going to be able to cut those two out now that I did that. I wasn't thinking that way. And I think this is the last one that I haven't tried. But yeah, I've been really having fun with these. And like I said, I've been like using different kinds of books. I've been stamping them on text and stamping them. I really do like my blueprints. I think that kind of makes some really fun some really fun looks on my tags, but or labels. But there we go. See, now that one does not stamp off that much because it all kind of comes off in the first stamping. And that's kind of why I wanted to show you, is that, you know, they do stamp differently. So I'm going to get another piece of paper here because these are much bigger. And so, like, this one does not have anything in the middle. You know, so I just want to make sure that I go around the outside edge of the stamp when I'm putting my ink on it. And I've watched people say that when you have a large stamp, you know, that's much larger than your ink pad, that, you know, you're supposed to take the ink pad to the stamp. But, you know, I never have luck with that. So, you know, I just kind of do it this way. And sometimes it does wind up with lines where, like, the edge of your stamp pad was, and that's where you pushed your stamp down. But mostly I do mixed media, so I really don't mind that there's a line in it or whatever. So now this one, right here, it did not stamp real well. And right here, that ink is still on my stamp pad. And that is probably because I've got this big bump in my paper here. And really, it's hard to line them back up. But I'm going to try and see if I can. It worked. It did fill that in. So, but yeah, I like the way that these look. They're not a super solid line, which is, I'm not a real, like, super crisp. Well, it depends on what it is. But even with my line stamps, I like my lines to be kind of broken and fuzzy, and I don't really want that just starkness, you know, just perfectness on there. And that's totally me. You know, that we all like what we like, and there is no right or wrong to it. So what I like is not right, and, you know, you like is wrong. It's, you know, it's just what I like is what I like, and what you like is what you like. So, oh, I didn't do a stamp off with that one. But these two, I don't think that they, you know, like, I think that they pretty much lay their ink the first time. You know, see, that one is very light. It's still there, but forgot to do that part. So I like the shape of this one. I think this one's just kind of cool. Actually, I think they're all cool. But we'll just finish up these last few. And then I did kind of just want to show you how the box is put together, so that you know what you're expecting there. And see, now there I have a little white spot right there, but I know it's not in my stamp because it's not on these two. So it's the way I pushed it down. And having this lump in my paper probably was not the smartest idea. I should have made sure. And these also have the tack it over and over on the paper. That they're just on a piece of paper. And the reason they're on paper is because I could take, whoops, I didn't press this side down at all. I could take the paper out and put the Aleene's Tacky Glue on it and let it dry, and then put it in the box instead of trying to put the tacky glue on the bottom of the box in the right spot. This one stamp, doesn't do a two stamp at all. So we have just a couple more to go. And these ones here with the dots on them, you can use your hole punch, and you can punch holes with where all the little dots are. That looks really cool. And this one I think looks kind of like a speech bubble. And that one doesn't stamp off too much, but actually I think if I had got more ink on it, it would have. And then finally, our last one. So yes, if you are interested, I will put my email address below. Please email me. I only do this by email because YouTube comments don't always come in order. So you can just, send me an email, and I will let you know if I still have any left. And then you can pay with PayPal. And I have 10 sets, Again, they are $25. That includes the shipping. And well, that's pretty much it. So there we go. There is what they can look like, just doing them quickly. And then you can just cut them out with the edges or without the edges. I just like them with a little edge on them. But I think that they're really fun to play with. And so your box is going to come like this. And let's see. And see, this has got the little Eileen's Tack It Over and Over on there. And so those are just stuck on there, just like that, so that they will hold still during shipping, and hopefully they won't wind up all over in the box. Now, you know, depending on how your post office man is, you know, sometimes they really throw things around and kind of make a bit of a mess. And then this one still has 2 handles to be put on it. And your box has been taped with double-sided sticky in the back and then stapled in the front to keep it like a box, because otherwise the whole thing falls open and flat. So I went ahead and hooked that together. So if you want to go ahead and use it that way, then, you know, it will stay together instead of all falling apart and then you having to do that. So that is the sets for today. So I hope that if you'd like one of these, I hope that you really enjoy them. I've been having fun with them. Thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. And I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.